Oh man, first you had Kevin, then you had Lambert, and then you had these two cool guys singing songs, and then you have me. Really not fair. But a bit of myself. My name is Jeff Andrews. I am a 香港人. Okay, if you ask me where my 鄉下 is, my 鄉下係土瓜灣. Yeah, but just gonna see if this clicker works. That's me. I am a third-generation Hong Konger, born and raised. This is my family. So we are also Christians, but we're also Tamils. If you know, India is so diverse, just like China. So people sometimes come to me and say, "Do you speak Hindi?" I say, "Well, not really. We speak Tamil, and India is like I said, thousands of languages. So in Hong Kong, sometimes people get very confused." But again, I'm also confused because growing up in Hong Kong in a segregated school, so unlike many of my local peers, I went to a school called Lei Jingok, and in the morning section, it was all local Chinese. And then at 12:30, it'd be like an assembly line of a factory, switch, and it'll be all ethnic minorities. It's like, what's going on? Then I went to secondary school. I said, surely now you'll have to do full day school. How are you going to segregate? Funny enough, they segregate you on different floors. Upper floors, all local Chinese. Lower floors, all ethnic minorities. Like, what's going on? And we were given two languages to learn, English, and anyone can guess what a second language would be? No, it was French. Yeah, 5 years I learned French, and all I remember was je ne sais pas français, which means I don't know French. But it's tough because there was no Form 6 prospects for many of our ethnic minorities. When I looked into, when I was in Form 1, I looked into the Form 6 classrooms. There was no ethnic minority representation. So I just thought, okay, societies like that, we do as good as we can till Form 5. And this was my schoolmates. Many of them hardworking, even smarter than me, and they were already looking at jobs of security, construction, joining their dad's businesses, and I just thought, what about myself? What am I going to do? Unfortunately for me and many of my some friends, we also started to go into, many of my peers were already in gangs. I love football so much. Every day after school, I would go to play football. Innocently, I would go to a place called Chungking in Jordan. And already my peers were, in this photo, 2 of them were already in jail, rehab. Actually, 2 of my friends here passed away on drug overdose. So, this was like my environment. I was like, oh gosh, I'm not that bad of a person. I come from a decent family, but I looked at society's, role for us. It was either this or you had to work hard and do menial jobs. And for me, unfortunately, like I said, I love football so much, but even in football, there were barriers. I would go to the football association, I would say, there was these football schemes for all local residents and kids in Hong Kong, and I would go so excitedly to the football association, and they would give me a form only in Cantonese. And I'd be like, I can't read it, but I really want to play football so much. So what do? I go to my security guard in my building, Asok Pong Yachai team, and we'd fill up the form together, and I'd be playing. And I actually represented Kowloon City District team for about 3 years. And you can see, even in '97, I was like one of the few ethnic minorities playing football. Soon reality hit for myself. I left school in Form 5. My grades weren't too good. And I started joining gangs, selling drugs, partying, running away. In fact, my parents called the police a few times because I was missing. They thought I was dead. So this was my life cycle. It was just like going around, and I was just sucked into a vicious cycle. And people look down on me. People look down on my friends. I will tell you, every day if I see a police officer, I'm getting my ID ready because I know they're going to stop me. They say, you look like a gang member, you look like trouble. And that was the kind of role that I just thought, that just fits me and my community. And then, like I said, I was arrested one fine day. It was a big wake-up call because this is finally you being arrested as a youth. I was brought into Wan Chai police cell. I was in huge trouble. I didn't want to call my parents. And somehow, till today, I really thank God for it because till today, I remember the social worker's number, 9237-6464. Please don't dial it. But she came and she saved me. This woman called Fermi Wong, this really amazing social worker, 4 a.m., came and took me, bailed me out. But as I was doing my fingerprinting and signing off my bail sheet, in Wan Chai Station, in a blackboard, it was written NEC, non-ethnic Chinese, and the crimes that we committed. And I was going to be another negative statistic for my community. And it really shamed me. It really hit me hard. I went back home that morning, pressed the doorbell, and my mom and dad opened up the door, and my dad was like, who's this woman? Is she your girlfriend? I said, no, social worker. And that was a huge one. They, instead of like hitting me or getting really angry, they were crying in front of this woman. And they said, Jeff, you haven't even started your life here as a young person. You're already arrested. And Fermi Wong at that moment already said to my parents, like, hey, three things are going to either happen. One is criminal record, jail time, but very rarely you're going to be let go. But anyway, Fermi Wong worked so hard, found me a lawyer, got me these incredible people to write mitigation letters for me. People that didn't even know me wrote letters. Jeff is a good boy, give him a chance. And anyway, the judge gave me a chance that one fine day I hit the jackpot that day, and he says, young man, don't waste your life away. It was a big turning point. I went on this huge crusade with Fermi Wong on fighting ethnic minority policies that were hindering our progress, so much that I became Hong Kong's first ethnic minority social worker in 2014. Before that, there was none. Incredible. How come? We have a huge community in Hong Kong. Thank you so much. Thank you. But for me, it was incredible because it was Fermi Wong was there on my graduation day and just whispering, hey, we were signing your bail sheet a few years ago, and here you are being Hong Kong's first ethnic diverse social worker. So very proud of that one. This is today, if you ask me, do I have any Visa card, MasterCard? I said, no, the social worker's card is worth more than that. It's a privilege to be in this profession. And since then, I've been using my voice because, if you look at the news on ethnic minorities, if you look at it, you see crime, someone's done something, it's always sensational, biased reporting, never our voice being heard in it. And I thought, why? So I started to get in there. Whenever there's media opportunity, I go in and I take an interview and I talk about what we do and have that balanced reporting. And I'm so lucky to have that, so much that it's gone local and global. This was the Korea Times a few months ago. Just talking about ethnic diversity, the culture that we bring, the skills that we bring, the talents that we bring. We're not always construction workers. We're not always security guards. We're not always going to be food panda delivery workers and whatnot. So yes, this is also another fantastic one that I did with LA Times. And then, of course, also football. I just realized even football, like I said, trying to create a change from the pitch to society. I couldn't be a football player. There's so much discrimination on the pitch. Try to be a football coach. Even then, they said you have to do it in Cantonese, the exam in Cantonese. So went in the newspaper, the next day Football Association called and said, sorry, we're changing it to English. So it seems like you do need the media in a lot of the changes. Embarrass someone and maybe they will make a call and change things, which is something that I've learned. Anyone know where this building is? It's in the heart of Chim Sa Choi? Thank you so much. Yes, anyone been there before? Very few, very few. The ones who haven't, you don't need a visa to go in. I understand because, when people say Chungking Mansions, people always have some response. It's crazy because, this is just a building, and when there's a lot of discrimination and labeling of the building, you're not discriminating the building, you're discriminating the people in there. And I am one of the people living in there, and working in there. And I myself was so ashamed to tell people in the first year that I worked in this building. When people ask me, where do you work? I just say Christian Action. And they say, where? I say Christian Action. I will never tell them where. And then I thought, no, this is unfair. If I don't believe in this building and the unity of races that it brings, then what am I doing? And sooner or later, one of the most incredible things happened during the social unrest, 2019. There was one fine day that people said they wanted to attack the mosque, attack South Asian people, and attack people in Chungking. I thought, my gosh, what a nightmare. And so me and my friends decided, nope, we don't believe this is the Hong Kong that we lived in, that there's going to be a race riot. So we stood outside Chungking as friendly ambassadors, and we provided water bottles just to diffuse situation. And believe it or not, it was an incredible change in mindset. People thought, ooh, these guys speak Cantonese. Ooh, this place is not bad. This is just another part of Hong Kong story, just like the Kowloon Walled City. Now that it's gone, people miss it. And I hope that maybe in the future that we don't lose this place like this. So anyway, I organized one of the first tours, and I'll never forget people, literally we organized a tour at 5:30, And at 4:30, my friends called me and he says, Jeff, you need to come down now. I said, what's going on? He said, people are lining up outside of Chungking, already waiting for your tours. I'll just show you a photo of that. This was an incredible sight for me, unbelievable. My parents would tell us, don't even pass by Chungking Mansions, right? And here people are lining up. And since that day till today, I'm running tours every week. In fact, I enjoy being a tour guide instead of a manager of my center, because you see the interactions, the people coming in and enjoying what we do. We call it the 5 senses tour because you're using all your 5 senses, literally. And then there's a lot of food tasting. Hong Kong people never say no to food, which is a good thing. And in Chungking, you have the most incredible, diverse ranges of food. And yeah, until today, like I said, we are doing different diversity packages and initiatives, from human libraries to food exchange to something I do called Refugee Walk, where I take people on a walk from Tsim Sha Tsui all the way to Yamate to understand what life is like for a refugee. And like I said, I'm really proud because of these little changes and initiatives. There's a lot of mutual understanding now between Hong Kongers and I would say of the Hong Kongers of ethnic diverse communities. Before, I remember going to Tung Chung in the supermarket and I was lining up with just a few items, and then in front of me was mainland tourists buying a lot of items, and then behind me was a pawpaw with just some fruits. And I was next in line and I was next to go in the counter. And you know what I did? I just say, pawpaw, lei han xin. And you know what the pawpaw said? She looked at me and she said, Hong Kong yan. And I got goosebumps, and I said, wow, you know what? This is all it takes. So, these are things that this would have never happened 15, 20 years ago. So, I'm also very proud to show you. These are some of the stuff. We do a fantastic lai cha, which is milk tea. We talk about religion and all sorts. I'm very proud, as being the first ethnic diverse social worker, we started, a few of us also started to graduate and become social workers, and we created the first ever chapter under the Social Workers Association as ethnic diverse group. We wanted to create change, and we wanted to encourage other young people to become social workers, especially from our community. Because back then, my parents would think being a social worker means you have no salary. You are just being a free volunteer, but no, social worker is a fantastic profession, and the pay is not bad sometimes. But just incredible to see now we have Pakistani, Indian, Nepalese, Filipino registered social workers. So much that we organized last year our first ever gathering of ethnically diverse social workers. 40 people turned up, and through that, many more registered to be social workers. And we did our first ever photo shoot, really cool looking guys. And then just a few months ago, on March 21st, we held our second anniversary, and 80 people turned up. More social workers coming in, and really give a round of applause for that, because we're looking at more to serve in our community. Very important, just like examples of the fire in Jordan a couple of years ago when the Nepalese community was so badly affected. It was not local social workers that went in, it was ethnically diverse social workers just to be there as first responders to help out and diffuse some very intense situation. Anyone know where this is? It's very hard to tell, but this is just above the Hindu temple in Happy Valley. And a friend of mine called me and says, Jeff, and he sent me this photo on WhatsApp. He says, Jeff, this is a war memorial. I said, what? A war memorial where South Asian soldiers defended Hong Kong and are buried there. And I said, you gotta be kidding me. And he says, we need your help. We need to get people to go and do some volunteer work. I said, are you kidding me? Like, seriously? Who in Hong Kong wants to, you can do beach cleanups, but cemetery cleanups? Not everyone's cup of tea. But anyway, we said, let's just try and do it. And I posted it up on my social media page, and sooner or later I got a few responses, and we set off to this beautiful cemetery. It's just, for me, it was a big wake-up call, because I saw people from my village or my town in South India. They were buried in Hong Kong in 1847. 1847. Hong Kong was an international city before we thought it was an international city. Anyway, I cannot believe my sight when we got all these volunteers together. And it wasn't just volunteers, it was children, it was expats, it was refugees, it was ethnic minorities, all coming and cleaning and restoring and learning different skills, cementing, painting. I'd never seen anything like it in my time as a social worker. And it was incredible. Week after week, We would go in, clean, learn, and then unearth stuff. And it's just incredible to see people of all races, all walks of life coming in, and they say, we want to keep doing it. As you can see here, there's inscriptions in Tamil. And then some of the other ones are Nepalese, Pakistani, Indian soldiers defending Hong Kong. And just now you can see the beautiful changes there. Week by week, it was intense, but we learned so much. And now we have this beautifully restored. It was really well documented by the media. And then 2 years ago, we did the first ever Memorial Day tribute celebration for our fallen soldiers, and I'm really proud of that. This was the first group that came, 40, and this was the intense time of COVID. And then 2 weeks later, 90 people showed up. And it just got better and better, and it was just so nice to see people wanting to do good, restore some heritage, restore history, and most importantly, dignity for people. Look at this. This is on there. There are some inscriptions about some of the soldiers and the time period when they died and what they have done for Hong Kong. If you ever have time, do go up there and see that, and you'll know the contributions our community has done for what is today's Hong Kong. I'm really proud of that Memorial Day celebration where honor is restored. Anyone know that Hong Kong has an ethnic minority population since 1840s. The British brought the Sikh soldiers here. And, it was an incredible time where, wars were taking place. Anyone know HKU was founded by a Parsi man? Yeah, Mr. Modi. If you go to Chim Sa Tsui Modi Road. Anyone know that the Star Ferry was also initiated by a Parsi man? Yeah, so when you take the ferry, the most iconic thing in Hong Kong, we had a huge part to play in that. First Pakistani police officers after partition, and over 100 of them continue to serve. And now I'm really proud to say there's over 40 ethnically diverse police officers in Hong Kong. Nepalese soldiers, they defended Hong Kong's border from illegal immigrants from coming in. But that's also many unsung heroes. Their stories are not told. The Philippine flag. Anyone know that the first Philippine flag was sewn in Hong Kong? Incredible. If you don't believe me, you can go and check it out for yourself. It's in Wan Chai Morrison Hill Road. So I'm going to spill the tea a little bit because I'm only 30 seconds left. I've got a timer. I can see why you guys do that for me. I'm going to spill the tea a bit because what's my next initiative? It's time to be the change that we want to see in the world. And I'm part of now creating Hong Kong's first ethnically diverse museum in Chungking Mansions. So I hope you guys can come and support me and our community in this. Thank you very much. And like I said, I think one of the things that I want to say in my last 10 seconds is really you got to take the initiative. Young people, if we don't take the initiative, who will? We can't always rely up top. I think for me, I can always see it's the community that makes the best change. Thank you so much.